Just finished up the first half of the Big Ten season, and we're a game out of first place, and it's in our pursuit of trying to win a Big Ten championship. It's been really proud of the team and the improvement that we're doing. It's to kind of sit there and there's not a lot of time in the middle of the season of reflecting, but the fact that we're sitting there at a game out of this conference with as many teams that are in the top 10, top 15, after graduating a Hilly and a Retke and a Loberg and a Barnes and a Chavita, I think is a real credit to the players. And where we're at, we've got this past weekend. We're playing Michigan, ranked team on the road. Other than probably about a 5-minute clip, I thought we played really well. To be able to hit for the percentage that we did, I think we had 7 players that had at least 10 attempts. I think 5 of those 7 hit over 350 on the match against a ranked opponent. I certainly pleased with that. I didn't think our defensive effort was, or what we were able to do defensively in the first set was certainly not something that we're wanting to do of allowing a team to hit over 300 in a set. But I liked how we locked that down from the second set on, and held I think a team that was at the time leading the league in hitting percentage to a lot lower than what they usually do. So very pleased with the team. Jay Demps coming off the bench and giving us a huge lift. The improvement that our setters have been able to do over the course of the season, and then heading into Nebraska with an opportunity to that is awesome in front of us. And so day off today. We could have used the day to train and watch film, but day off today, and we'll have a little bit tomorrow before we play on Wednesday.
Questions?
Yeah, Kelly, you mentioned the players you lost off last year's team. I'm sure at this point last season, you had a pretty good idea what that team's ceiling was going to be, how far it could go. Do you have an idea on this year's team, where you are in terms of how close to that ceiling, how much growth is left for this team to make?
It's a different team. Certainly, experience very different. It's a team that is winning differently than what we have done in the past. Maybe what fans or us are kind of accustomed, what we were really good at. Our strengths are different this year than what they've been in the past. I think we're first or second in the league in hitting percentage, but I'm not sure that is. We're not this great first ball kill type of team. I think our block is really good. I think we are. There's times that we are really good out of system with our attacking. We're probably a little bit streakier than maybe what some of our other teams have been, in a good way and a bad way. We can get on some runs of points very quickly, but one of the things that probably has some of us pulling our hair out, or those of us that have that ability, we're also capable of giving up long strings of points. But one of the things I think we've gotten a little bit better as a team is being resilient in those moments where, like earlier, you would see, I would sense defeat in some of them, or individualized actions trying to do too much, where now I see them kind of come together. This team is really capable of being really good. We've got to steady out. We've got to stop giving up some of these sets where teams are hitting over 300. If you want to be a championship team, we can't have that. And we're having at times where teams are hitting at a really high level. We've got to find a way to level that out. We're not where we're going to be yet. And I would say that's the word for the power of yet. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer.
Both you and Nebraska have had a lot of turnover from the last time you played. And one of the things, both of you have gone to 6-2s lineups, and that's kind of a trend. Purdue's running a different version. Michigan's gone to. Do you think there's a trend there? Do you think it's just the way your roster is lined up this year?
Yeah.
And do you think there's a growing move towards that?
You can see this thing where it's like, here it's you hear the phrase copycat league, or for whatever sport people copy. I don't think that's what we're doing here. I think it's because in every instance you could see, all right, this makes sense for the talent that is there, and I think it's coaches that are trying to maximize the talent on their roster. For us, where we can really, really be good is the size that we can put up in front of people at the net, and the number of arms that we have. And so, all right, we're a little inexperienced at the setting position. Let's give them as many arms as possible. Let's be really physical up at the net. I'd say that Nebraska is probably in a very similar situation, except they've got one of their setters that is very, very experienced, clearly. But they've got some height, some size defensively is where they can kind of excel. But you're right. I mean, we haven't seen since probably, when Southern Cal won back-to-back national championships, we probably haven't seen top teams running a 6-2, and we're seeing a lot of that, a 5-2 or a 6-2 or something. It's a, I don't know. Did I answer your question, or did I just acknowledge that teams are running a 6-2? I don't know. Okay.
Kelly, obviously, Nebraska's playing well, great team, and there are a lot of things to worry about when you face them. I guess I'm just curious, in your mind, what are the couple things that are going to be at the top of, what concerns you most about, competing against them?
And they're serving, I think, early on. They were prone to a lot of service errors early. The past 3 or 4 weeks, that has seemed to settle down. Their passing is better than anybody in the conference. They are passing at a really high level, and their passers have been together the past couple years. So their seams are really good. But how do you score? I mean, that's the thing. Nobody can score against these suckers, and so nobody can score against this team. I can see the headline right now. Coach calls Nebraska suckers or something like that. But it's it'll be great clickbait. They are really, really good defensively. I mean, what I'm seeing right now, this is one of the better defensive teams that I've ever seen. I mean, they are really, really good defensively and consistent defensively. We've got a really good offensive team, but we haven't been. Our offense won't be as tested as what it will be this week. And can we find a way to consistently score against that team? And they don't give you a lot of points. At least the past month and a half, they're not throwing away a lot of points. So finding a way to score would probably be right up there.
Coach, commitment announcements have evolved over the years, and with that, coaches have really started getting in on the fun. For example, you tweet bingo when you get a commitment announcement. I was wondering where that came from and why you decided to start doing that.
I don't know. I've done it for a while. I think. Yeah, I don't know. Probably the story behind it would be really boring to that one. But I know that there is I mean, think about it. When you're playing bingo, I mean, nobody when they get bingo does it just like, hey, I won. I mean, they scream it, right? There's excitement. I mean, we all can picture what that sounds like. It's and sometimes that's kind of what you feel when you get a commitment. It's like, yes, we won on this. Let's shout it to the world in a way that's still legal, because most of the time we can't really comment on it. Recruits tend to get pretty fired up and pretty excited about it, and that gets us excited about it. And so, but where it came from, yeah, no.
Devin Robinson with the season high 17 kills for you guys yesterday. I'm just curious what spark you noticed from her, and then a second question I have for you after that.
Dev is a really important player, but then I think that, and I could say, man, I could be saying that about a lot of people, but she is she adds a lot on the court beyond just her skill set, her confidence, her how she approaches tough moments, how much joy she plays the game with. It's she's capable. I mean, everything that she's able to do was on full display yesterday. Running quicks, running second tempo, third tempo, attacking off 1 foot, 2 feet, blocks. There was one move that she made that she bites on a quick attack, jumps up, and then they set right over the quick to the outside hitter. She jumps, she lands, and then makes this dive move to bring the ball back into the court. That you're like, man, what you just did in our game, you could probably count on one hand the number of people that could make the move that you just did at the speed and athleticism that she was able to do. It was an error that she was able to cover up that was just really ridiculous. So I mean, there's an attitude, that she adds, there's a skill set, but there's also the athleticism of what she's able to do that's not too many people in our game are able to.
You guys obviously have both different rosters than when you faced each other for the national championship game, but how hungry do you think Nebraska is coming in here to the field house to get a win?
Yeah, it's I can't imagine it's any more than what I mean. It just I'm sure every year they're trying to get wins, and every year we're trying to get wins. I don't think that I don't think a winning streak or a losing streak really changes that, especially when a championship is within your reach. But it's both teams have some people that have been playing against each other, but there's also some new pieces certainly. It's I think of some of their new pieces like a Caitlin Horde. It's like, well, it's a new piece, but she's been a part of some pretty big moments herself in her career at Penn State. I'm sure everybody's going to be excited about playing the match. There'll be some good storylines because the last time that both teams played each other it was one of the all-time epic volleyball matches there's ever been, and in front of the biggest crowd there's ever been. So that that was not too many months ago. So there's obviously the storyline behind that, but and some of the pieces that were involved in that. But really, when you get right down to it, this league it would be a disservice to how good this league is for that to be what we're talking about. We're just not within our team, and I guarantee that's not what John is talking about. It is so freaking hard to win this conference, and it is such a big deal that it's just all about how do we find a way to be good this match. But then there's also, you step back and it's like our team has gotten better throughout the course of the year, and after this match we've still got to find a way to get better no matter whether we win or lose. It's a snapshot in the middle of a regular season that is just the first match of the second half. We've got bigger goals than just winning this match, as I'm sure they do as well. But it's going to be a really good measuring stick of where we're at.
You kind of touched on Jada in your first statement. I guess I'm wondering her playing time from match to max changes, and I guess I'm wondering how do you can you speak to the challenge of that? Obviously, you expect your players to be ready when they're called upon. But can you speak to that challenge? And then 2, do you have to kind of, talk with Jay just to make sure she stays locked in and that she is ready when when you call upon her.
You hit on something that is really on about any team, especially in the days of the portal, is how do individual athletes handle things that they wish were different? All right. That really comes down to what a culture of a team and a team, what is it like in the locker room, in the film room, and the potential that a team has. Because you know that there are players in all these sports right about now that are thinking about the portal and what they're going to do because they're not getting what they're wanting right now. And you don't hide that stuff. The coaches, they know, they can sense whether somebody is all the way in or whether they're in the deep end or they're in the shallow end. And I would think that maybe a player like Jade from the outside, she played a little bit more last year and had such a massive role in our tournament run that all of a sudden she's not playing as much. And I'm sure people have her one step out the door. And that's not what we're seeing. I'm not saying what her future is or anything. It's just she is all the way in. There isn't anybody that talks more about trying to understand our opponent in a film session than her. And it's not fake. It's not to say, hey, look at me, and put me in, coach, or something like that. She's listening to understand. She's asking questions to learn so that she's ready for those types of moments. And that's where you want all of your players. And putting her in there, it wasn't just her playing well, and it had nothing to do with whoever she went in for, because she's capable going in for any four of our pin hitters. But she was ready for a moment. She comes in, and what I saw was a team full of people really excited that she was in and playing hard for her. It's changed the energy of our group. All of a sudden, they're not worrying about being in this battle. All of a sudden, they're letting loose and have a little bit of fun. She affected things in a great positive way. It's something I've been really impressed with, and it's but not just her. We have that up and down the lineup of different people that could be playing a little bit more, and they're not wallowing, they're not sulking, they're all the way in. It's special when you're when you're able to have a group like that.
Last question. Kelly, piggybacking off that, you have options, right? You have lineup options, it seems like, which is a good thing, but probably also a difficult thing. Are you still figuring that out? You're at the point now where it's halfway point of the regular season. Are you still trying to figure out what's your best lineup night to night?
No, I'm not. I'm past trying to figure it out. We're where we are now. With that, we're still a team that is evolving and open to that. And so, I think it would be really frustrating as a team, as an athlete, if it's no matter what I do, doesn't matter anymore. And that is certainly not the case. Every day matters, practice matters, how you're performing in matches. Last year, we evolved throughout the season. Our lineups changed because of what we were seeing. Players were developing their game and continuing to get better. So I'm not trying to figure out who should go where. We are still trying to figure out as a coaching staff, how can we still get better? How can we evolve as a team? And if there's players that continue to improve their skill set in a way that says that we are a better team with them starting, then we'll certainly do that. But that's not the focus. The focus is a little bit more on adding our skills, trying to be better with our systems.